All right, we can go again. Sorry,
right.
the camera died.
Sorry. All right. So what I have also done at this time is I have put my oven on 195 degrees. And I have a tea kettle that has water in it to boil. This I learned from watching, what was his name? Elton Brown or whatever?
Sure. Alton's pretty smart.
Yes. And what it does is it gives me a proofing, like they use proofing rooms,
Like a
proofing
proofing
ovens in a bakery.
atmosphere.
What it does is it sets the temperature at the right temperature and it gives you the humidity you want in order to make your Schnecken or whatever raised dough you're doing rise. So I'm going to set my stove at 195, but then before I put my Schnecken in there, I am going to turn it off and put it in and let it raise in the oven, because otherwise, like when we were kids, you'd put it on the radiator at home, we'd put it in a sunny window, we'd put it in places where it'd get nice and warm and get that yeast growing. So, here we are, our clump of dough. All right. Notice, flour is your friend. Use it. If you don't use it, you will say words that should not be said in a Christian home. Okay, I am stretching this out to be a rectangle. Now, this is what you really need, but any sharp knife will work. This is one of Nammy's black knives. I have one, Carol has one, Carol might have two, and my mother has one or two. Precious.
Your Nammy's?
My Nammy's black knife, yes, black handled knife. I have no clue why, but that was the knife that she always used for baking, so guess what? It's the knife I use for baking. Okay, don't worry if you put a hole in your dough, squeeze it back together. Don't worry if I'll show you what happens. If it gets sticky on the bottom, it's not a big deal. If it gets a little sticky to the counter, because when I roll it up, I'll use my knife again to scrape it off the counter and get it all rolled in there. All right, so you can see about the size that I have here. I'm going to take my butter, my melted butter. This is 1 cup of butter. I truly and honestly have no clue how much butter I go through. Now remember, this is going to make about 3 pans of Schnecken. So you're going to need plenty of butter. When we used to make it at home, we always put butter and lard in on this step. And I'm sure Nammy did the same thing. And I'm sure the reason they did that was lard was available. Lard was cheap. You could get lard when they butchered, they got their lard. So it was cheap and it was available, where butter was more expensive unless you were making it yourself. So you would mix butter and lard. Well, right now, I get my lard at the butcher shop. So that's why it comes in those dishes like I showed you yesterday. Comes in like a pint-sized container. You can also get it in the refrigerator section. I think it's refrigerator section of the grocery store. It'll look like a white block of the way butter comes in a whole block, sometimes not quartered. You can use that. But like I said, the only reason that they were using lard at this step was because it was cheaper. Now, cinnamon. You don't want to be chintzy.